Vallow Daybell, A Descent into Doomsday. Vallow Daybell, the name now synonymous with unthinkable acts. She stands convicted of conspiring to murder her fourth husband, Charles Vallow, in Arizona. A jury, after just 3 hours of deliberation, delivered the verdict. This conviction adds another layer to her already disturbing legacy. She's already serving a life sentence in Idaho. That sentence stems from the murders of her own children. Give a like and subscribe. Leave a comment. The Idaho convictions were for the murders of Joshua J.J. Vallow and Tylee Ryan, her own flesh and blood. She was also found guilty of conspiring to murder Chad Daybell's ex-wife, Tammy Daybell, a web of death and deceit. Arizona brought charges for the murder of Charles Vallow. Her defense? Self-defense, a claim that now rings hollow in the face of overwhelming evidence. July 2019, Charles Vallow was shot and killed by Lori's brother Alex Cox. Cox claimed he acted in self-defense, a convenient narrative that prosecutors dismantled. They argued Lori wanted Charles dead for 2 reasons: to collect on his life insurance policy and to clear the path to marry Chad Daybell. Prosecutor Trina Kay called it a staged murder, not self-defense. Lori, in a stunning move, represented herself at trial. She maintained her brother acted in self-defense. But Alex Cox died in 2019. He was never charged in Vallow's death. A key witness silenced forever. Lori claimed Charles arrived at her home to pick up JJ. An argument ensued. She said Charles began yelling at her. A volatile situation, according to her account. She stated Tylee came out with a baseball bat to protect her mother. A struggle followed. Cox intervened, leading to the fatal shooting. A story riddled with inconsistencies. September 2019. JJ and Tylee vanished. Their disappearance sparked a nationwide search, a desperate plea for their safe return. The truth was far more sinister. Their remains were discovered on Chad Daybell's property in 2020, buried like discarded trash. October 2019. Tammy Daybell died. Initially, it was ruled a natural death, but the truth emerged later. She died from asphyxiation. Chad Daybell was convicted of her murder. He was also convicted of the murders of Lori's children, a trifecta of death. Chad was sentenced to death, a fitting end according to many, but the pain for the victims' families remains. Lori's behavior underwent a radical transformation after meeting Chad Daybell in 2018. She was once seen as a doting mother, a devoted member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. She began to embrace Chad's doomsday theories, a descent into madness. She and Chad allegedly believed they were chosen to survive the apocalypse. They believed her children were zombies. They were on a mission to eradicate these zombies before the second coming of Jesus Christ, a twisted justification for murder. Lori allegedly believed she was a god, assigned to carry out the work of the 144,000 at Christ's second coming. Lori's life was marked by a series of marriages, 5 in total, each one ending in turmoil. Her first marriage was to Nelson Yanes in 1992. It ended in divorce shortly after, a brief and unremarkable union. Her second marriage was to William LaGoya in 1995. They divorced in 1996. They had a son, Colby Ryan. Her third marriage was to Joseph Ryan in 2001. They divorced in 2004. They had a daughter, Tylee. Her fourth marriage was to Charles Vallow in 2005. They adopted JJ. This marriage ended in tragedy. Her fifth marriage was to Chad Daybell in November 2019, a union forged in darkness, a partnership of death. Cheryl Wheeler, Charles Vallow's ex-wife, expressed concerns about Lori's mental health. She saw a disturbing change in Lori's behavior, a growing detachment from reality. Lori was declared unfit to stand trial in May 2021. This was based on a psychological evaluation. She was committed to a psychiatric facility. In April 2022, Judge Boyce declared that Lori was restored to competency and fit to proceed. The legal process could continue, but questions about her mental state lingered. Before receiving a life sentence, Lori gave a bizarre rant in court in July 2023. She denied that her children and Tammy had been murdered, a shocking display of delusion. She claimed she had a near-death experience. She said she could communicate with dead relatives, a descent into the surreal. She stated her children visited her from the grave. They were happy, she claimed, a chilling statement that defied comprehension. Chad Daybell was convicted of the murders of Tylee, JJ, and Tammy. The jury saw through his lies. They delivered a guilty verdict on all counts. He was sentenced to death in May 2024, the ultimate punishment. But it brought little comfort to the families of the victims. Lori and Chad remain legally married, despite being incarcerated in different states, a bizarre and unsettling fact. Lori is serving her life sentence at Pocatello Women's Correctional Center in Idaho, a life behind bars, a consequence of her actions. Chad is on death row in a maximum security prison in Kuna, Idaho. He awaits his fate. His execution date is yet to be determined. Chad has filed to appeal both his conviction and his death sentence, a desperate attempt to escape justice, but the odds are stacked against him. Lori faces further legal proceedings, including a trial for the attempted murder of her niece's ex-husband, Brandon Boudreaux. The tentacles of her crimes reach far and wide. She was indicted on charges of conspiring to kill Boudreaux, another plot uncovered, another life potentially destroyed. Lori was also indicted in the shooting death of her ex-husband, Charles Vallow, in Arizona. This case has now concluded with a guilty verdict, but the legal battles may not be over. Colby Ryan, Lori's son, testified that Lori changed after meeting Chad Daybell. He witnessed her transformation firsthand, a heartbreaking betrayal. Summer Cox Shiflett, Lori's sister, expressed disbelief and anger over the alleged crimes. She struggled to reconcile the woman she knew with the monster she had become, a family torn apart. Larry and Kay Woodcock, JJ's grandparents, urged Lori to be honest about their grandson's death. They sought closure. They deserved the truth. Lori Vallow Daybell's life is a tapestry of tragic events and extreme religious beliefs, a cautionary tale of how delusion can lead to destruction. She is serving a life sentence for the murders of her children and conspiracy to murder Tammy Daybell. She was found guilty of conspiring to murder her fourth husband, Charles Vallow. Chad Daybell is on death row for the murders of Tylee, JJ, and Tammy. Their story serves as a grim reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface, a darkness that consumed them and destroyed so many lives.